to get into shootouts and win shootouts. And for whatever reason, Dak was unable to do that. And so I think they hold that against him, Skip. But I believe that once, because as you mentioned, his first year, obviously coming in as a rookie, you're not going to be ranked. But they thought so much of him the next year that he was 14th.
No, that was off his rookie year. Yes.
So that goes to show you what they thought of him. And I believe, Skip, had he made the playoff, Skip, there's no question in my mind. With the stats that he put up, Dak's going to be in the 20s or the 30s. But he deserves to be on the list. I believe Dak is a better quarterback right now as we sit here than he was when he was ranked 14th. Because, Skip, the offense flowed through Zeke then. They asked Dak to do a lot more now than they did then. And I believe he's doing a great job of that. He just needs to develop the consistency, and you cannot, with that offensive talent, not make the playoffs. That's unacceptable, and that goes directly at the feet of the quarterback.
So, for the record, I want to remind our viewers, the man who just spoke, 7 times in the last 13 Cowboy games last year, the man who just spoke glowingly of Dak Prescott gave him Fs.
Yeah.
He gave him 7 Fs in 13 games.
Oh, well, now that I look at it, Skip, Cousins should be higher.
Really? Cousins should be higher than Dak?
He beat him. Okay. You told me the guy's head-to-head. Josh Allen beat him head-to-head. That's what you told me.
You know what? Kirk Cousins did not beat Dak head-to-head because in those last 13 games, the best game he played by far was against Minnesota on I believe, Sunday night. And again, at the end of the game, after he drove them all the way down to 2nd and 2 at the 11, after completing an 8-yard pass to Amari, and Amari was on fire, obviously at home that night. They took the ball out of Dak's hands and went Zeke, 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 game over, because he was about to go win the game against the Vikings. So I thought that was the best game he played over the last 13. He started out with 3 very strong games against what you called garbage teams, and I'll give you that. And then after that, Pro Football Focus ranked him in the last 13 games 15th in the league, which is about in the middle of the pack. Okay, so here's my gut feeling and my reaction to all of the above. I sat here exactly 1 year ago when this list was finished being unveiled on NFL Network, and I went out of my mind crazy nuts. And I said, there is no way that Rain Dakota Prescott, Rain, R-E-I-G-N, Rain Dakota Prescott, does not belong in the top 100 players in this league. And what was he coming off the year before? They were voting on a guy who did get Amari at midseason the year before and took off. And in the last 10 games of that year, I'm going back 2 years ago to the 2018 season. Over the last 10 games of that year, he led the league in completions. I can make a case that after he got Amari, he was the best quarterback in pro football down the stretch and into the playoffs. In the first playoff game at home, he outplayed Russell Wilson. I dare you to show me he didn't outplay Russell Wilson. He beat him with his arm and then in the end with his legs. And they won the game 24-22 and came here to Los Angeles, where Dak outplayed Jared Goff. QBR was 74-54. Dak over Jared Goff. He played well enough to win a game that the defense spat up, just choked it up, because they couldn't stop either Gurley or your little man from Denver, little C.J. Anderson. They couldn't stop either one of them, and they ran wild over, around, and through them that night. And still, Dak just kept fighting his guts out and kept them in that game, and they barely lost it by 1 score, 30-22. And off that run, Dak gets voted out of the top 100. And I went out of my mind, because you know how I feel about quarterbacks. If you know the game and you appreciate the impact of that position, it's the most important. I can't go more important than pitcher in baseball, but it's right up there with pitcher in baseball. So the point is, you can't tell me that every starting quarterback shouldn't be in the top 100 somewhere because of the virtue of the position they play. So my point is, how can you go from Dak ranks 14th off his rookie year? And what did I tell you? I said, I thought he had the greatest rookie season I've ever seen a rookie play, because he gets thrown into the fire in place of Tony Romo, who was beloved in Cowboy Nation. And here they go, and they go 13-3. And he threw for 305 yards and 3 touchdowns against Aaron Rodgers and company, and it took 2